She was born into silence. Not the kind of silence that comforts the soul, but the kind that whispers, "You don't belong here." Her name was Sarah Breedlove, born in 1867, on a cotton plantation in Louisiana. Her parents were slaves who had been freed. But freedom had come with no safety, no shelter, no promise. She was the first in her family to be born free. Yet life was not kind. Freedom had given her air to breathe, but not food to eat. It had given her a name, but not a home. When she was just 7, her parents were gone, leaving her alone in a world that never learned how to love black children. At 10, she worked washing clothes, her small hands soaking in cold water, her skin burning with soap, her heart whispering, "Maybe there is more than this. Maybe there is a world beyond dirt and despair." She married at 14, not for love, but for survival. She wanted protection, a chance to escape hunger. But life was cruel again. Her husband died soon after, leaving her widowed at 20, with a daughter and no future. She moved to St. Louis, where the air smelled of iron and smoke. She worked as a laundress, earning $1 a day. Her hands grew rough, her body tired, her hope thin. She watched women with beautiful hair walk by. Her own hair had begun to fall out, piece by piece, like her dreams. She looked in the mirror and saw not a woman, but a shadow, a reflection fading quietly into hopelessness. Then one night she dreamed. She saw a vision, a woman whispering a recipe, a promise of healing and beauty. When she woke, she mixed oils and herbs and rubbed them into her scalp, day after day praying maybe this will work. Her hair began to grow again, and so did her courage. What if other women needed the same? What if her pain could become her purpose? She started walking door to door, selling her homemade hair products. She spoke softly, yet powerfully, to women who had been told they were not beautiful enough. She told them, "Beauty is not what they see. Beauty is what you build." She named her product Madam C.J. Walker. She gave herself that name because she wanted to sound powerful, like the woman she dreamed of becoming. She transformed from Sarah, the washerwoman, to Madam, the entrepreneur. She trained other women to sell her products. She didn't just sell hair cream, she sold hope. She gave women jobs when no one else would. She told them, "You can make money. You can own your life." She built schools to teach business skills and financial independence. She spoke of ambition, of strength, of dignity. She became a voice for those who had none. People laughed at her, called her a dreamer. But she built an empire. Her factory stood tall in Indianapolis, a building owned by a black woman at a time when women couldn't even vote. She became a millionaire, not because she chased money, but because she chased meaning. She used her wealth to lift others, supporting black colleges, funding scholarships, donating to the NAACP. She fought for equality long before it was a slogan. "I want to leave something behind," she said, "that will make life easier for those who come after me." But behind the strength, there was still a heart that ached. She had lost friends, she had lost love. Her second marriage crumbled. Success could not fix the loneliness. But she carried on, because the world needed to see a black woman rise. She was more than a businesswoman, she was a movement. She showed the world that dignity cannot be denied, even by poverty or prejudice. In the twilight of her life, she walked through her factory. The scent of hair oil filled the air, the sound of laughter echoed through the walls. Women whose lives she had changed. She looked out the window at the horizon, her eyes soft, her voice quiet. "If they only knew how much it costs me," she said. "Every dream has a price, but it is worth paying when it gives others a reason to dream too." When she died in 1919, she left behind more than money. She left behind a legacy, a revolution wrapped in love and courage. Her name became a symbol, not just for beauty, but for power, for resilience, for the belief that no matter where you start, you can rise. Even today, when women open their small businesses, when they fight for a place in the world, when they lift each other up, they carry a piece of her within them. She didn't just change hair, she changed history. She turned pain into power, fear into fire, sorrow into strength. She was a mirror for every woman who had ever been told she was less, and a light for every girl who would one day dare to be more. Her story is not a fairy tale, it is a storm. A soft whisper in the wind saying, "You can build yourself from the ashes." She began with nothing, no education, no privilege, no safety net. Yet she became one of the most powerful women in America because she believed in her own hands, her own work, her own worth. She proved that beauty can be rebellion, and success can be resistance. She stands forever in memory, a woman who dared to dream when dreams were forbidden. Her name still echoes, Madam C.J. Walker, the woman who healed her hair, and healed a generation's spirit. The woman who rose from the dirt, to touch the stars. The years that followed were not gentle. Every sunrise brought new challenges, and every night carried the weight of expectations. She had built something powerful, something bigger than herself, but with greatness came the burden of being seen, being judged, being tested. The world looked at her, a black woman with power, and whispered, "How dare she?" But she didn't whisper back. She spoke loudly, proudly, with the voice of 1,000 women who had been silent for too long. She began traveling across America, holding conventions for her agents, women who now called themselves Walker agents. They dressed in white, carried dignity in their walk, and faith in their hearts. In every city she visited, she would tell them, "You are not just selling products. You are selling confidence. You are teaching the world to see us differently." The rooms would fill with applause, tears, and laughter. These women had once been maids, cooks, laundresses. Now they stood tall as business owners. For the first time, they could dream beyond survival. She gave them more than jobs, she gave them identity. She reminded them that success was not selfish. That when one woman rises, she must lift another. And so they did. They built communities, supported schools, funded churches, and helped each other's families. Together, they turned poverty into prosperity, fear into faith. But beneath the triumph, Walker carried a quiet pain. Her health began to fade. The endless travel, the sleepless nights, the responsibility of thousands. It all began to weigh on her. Doctors warned her to rest, but she couldn't. "How can I rest," she said, "when my people are still struggling to stand?" In 1917, she attended a national convention of the NAACP. She listened to stories of lynchings, of families torn apart, of children growing up without hope. She rose to speak, her voice trembling yet strong, and she said, "I am not satisfied in making money for myself. I want to use it to help lift my race." Those words would echo for generations. She donated large sums to the organization and urged others to do the same. Her money built schools, funded hospitals, supported movements for civil rights. She became not just a business icon, but a moral force, a leader who believed that true wealth lies in how many lives you touch. Still, her body grew weaker. Her kidneys failed, and pain became her shadow. But her spirit refused to break. In her final months, she moved into her grand home in Irvington-on-Hudson, a mansion she had named Villa Luero. It stood tall, built by black architects, filled with art and laughter and dreams. Every wall told a story, every room a reminder that she had built something the world once said was impossible. Young women would come to visit her, eyes wide, hearts trembling with awe. They would ask, "Madam Walker, how did you do it?" And she would smile gently and say, "I built it with these two hands, and with a mind that refused to give up." One evening, she sat near the window watching the sunset. The sky burned with gold, like the light she had carried her entire life. She whispered to her daughter, "Lelia, promise me you will keep building. Don't let it die with me." Her daughter nodded, tears glistening. And then slowly, softly, like a candle flickering in the wind, her light dimmed. In May of 1919, Madam C.J. Walker took her last breath. But death did not end her story. It magnified it. It made her legend. The newspapers called her the first self-made female millionaire in America. But those who knew her knew she was far more than that. She was not defined by her wealth, but by her will. Not by her empire, but by her empathy. Her company lived on, carried forward by her daughter and generations of women who refused to forget her dream. Her image became a symbol of hope, her name a promise that possibility has no color, no limit, no end. Decades later, her mansion became a landmark, her story taught in schools, her face printed on stamps. But her true legacy still lives quietly. In every woman who opens a business, in every girl who dares to believe that she can. Somewhere, a little girl looks into a mirror, uncertain of her worth, uncertain of her beauty. And in the reflection, a whisper rises. The same whisper Sarah once heard when she had nothing. It says, "You are more than what they see. You are what you build." That whisper is her gift to the world. A gift that has crossed centuries and oceans, reaching hearts that need to remember that even the smallest dream can grow into greatness. If you listen closely, you can still hear her voice. In the hum of a hair salon, in the laughter of women learning to believe again, in the quiet power of someone saying, "I made this with my own hands." She reminds us that strength is not born in comfort. It is born in struggle. And sometimes, the most extraordinary lives begin in the most ordinary places. A washerwoman's room, a bottle of oil, a dream that refused to die. Madam C.J. Walker's story is not just history, it is a mirror. A reflection of every soul who has ever felt unseen, unwanted, underestimated. She is proof that the world changes, not when you wait for permission, but when you decide to rise. And that is her true wealth. Not the money, not the mansion, not the empire, but the fire she left burning in every heart that refuses to surrender. Because when one woman stands up, 1,000 more find their courage. When one voice breaks the silence, the world begins to listen. So remember her not as a millionaire, but as a maker of dreams, of courage, of destiny. She began with nothing, and gave everything. She carried her people, her pain, her purpose, and turned them all into power. And somewhere beyond the horizon, she still walks, her footsteps echoing through time, reminding us all that we are never too small to change the world. Madam C.J. Walker, the woman who rose from the ashes of struggle and taught us how to build a crown from our scars,